You can have an amazing engine like Thomas Voeckler and still have a bloody canoe sitting on top of those engines. Thomas Voeckler. So I run into some cyclists that have amazing cardiovascular abilities, and I run into some amazing athletes. But I tell you, it's their Achilles heel. It's why they start to rock so much, or their knees are doing this, because they can't connect with their core stability. And that might mean that they just lost that control or connection. Their fingers are tied together because they had an old hip injury. It might mean that they've gotten weak in that area. There's a lot of reasons that can shut that stuff down. But I tell you, so many of us, we've forgotten how to use it. And we don't realize it because our body is, thank you. So because our body has gotten good at moving and compensating for. Just a quick story there, because I've got to tell it and Christian's given me permission to. 3 years ago, I've done the fitting for Garmin-Cervelo and the PT for the last couple of years. I think Christian Vandervelde, if you know him, took a nasty crash, 5 or 6 years ago, lands on his hip, pretty dang screwed up, gets back on the bike, riding strong. But he, after that point in time, as Thor Hudsoff would say, Christian, you're twisted, and I am twisted too. He's like, I just can't find my left leg, and I don't know why. And I do his fit, and I'm like, you know, as you're on the bike, you're like this, and your right leg has this much of a bend, and your left leg has that much of a bend. So your bike fit, your right leg's telling me I should lower the saddle, and your left leg's telling me I should raise the saddle. You know, who do we listen to? He's like, I just can't find my left leg, and it keeps twisting me. And I said, you know, we really need to look at the PC side of this and wake up some of those muscles that have been glued together. Wake up some of those muscles that aren't working independently and connect your core down to your leg. He's like, I'm plenty strong. I've had this and this and this and this and this. And he lists off a huge list of modalities. And I said, but you haven't had this. And he's like, yeah, whatever. Next year, yeah, whatever. Finally, last year, he said, yeah, whatever. And I said, no. If you're going to lie down on the table, you're going to give me 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes. And if you've had this done and it's not going to help you and you feel that way in 5 minutes, we'll stop. And he laid down on his side, and I asked him to engage his core and push down on his leg. And I moved him with 2 fingers. And he went, wait a minute, what's going on? He laid down on his right side and he threw me across the room. Laid down on the left side and he's like, I can't find those muscles. Like, you've never found your core. And about 20 minutes later, he found his core and threw me across the room. Because his brain had never connected and disassociated some of that muscle. And big picture is, if he can lose them, we all do. If you lose them by sitting in a certain place, you lose them by always moving a certain way, and our brain just says, I am always just going to walk like this. And you don't realize it because you've been wearing that base